Alright, hey guys, welcome back to another video. So originally I wasn't going to make a video like this talking about the Switch 2 reveal because I figured it would just be better to wait until April 2nd when they actually start showing us some of the games and the gimmicks and whatever plans they might have for this thing beyond just what it looks like. But I've been getting asked a lot my thoughts on the Switch 2 reveal, and I figured what the heck, it's a little late, but I'll make a video like this regardless to kind of give you my thoughts and what I think they might be bringing down the line when it comes to the launch and a certain accessory that some people may be overlooking that I think is very likely that we may see with the launch of the Switch 2, either something that's bundled with the console or sold separately. So, first, I think it's really important to give you a kind of little bit of a backstory and context on where I'm at with my Switch. A lot of people will probably be like, well, Pete's just excited for the Switch 2 because, oh, he's a Nintendo fanboy, blah, blah, blah. I like Nintendo, but I will definitely call out things when they're not really going the way I would hope they would. I was not the biggest fan of the Switch in recent years when it came to the performance side of things. I was getting a little annoyed with very sloppily handled games being developed, not so much by Nintendo themselves, but if they outsource, say, Link's Awakening, the Switch version of Link's Awakening was like my awakening, I guess you could say, of like, I think I'm going to hold back on buying some Switch games for the foreseeable future. And I did, because I was kind of disgusted by the frame rate and the performance of Link's Awakening. I thought it was an embarrassment, to be honest with you. I thought the visual style of the game was phenomenal, but I was taken aback by the hits to the frame rate and the stuttering and the loading, like everything. It just felt like something that Nintendo was like, whatever, it's Zelda, push it out. It's going to sell regardless. They weren't themselves internally developing it. They gave it to like Grezzo or whatever the developers are called. And ever since then, I've been really distant from buying games on the Switch. In fact, this year I really only played one game, which was the Denpamen for the most part. And then the year prior, like practically the only Switch game I played extensively was F-Zero 99, which is a great game. So, and I kind of pick and choose. I've only played certain first party games here and there, Pokemon game, Mario game here and there. I haven't played everything. I'm not like jumping out to buy every single first party game that comes out on the Switch. I pick and I choose, and I'm very careful with games that I buy on there. I don't even buy third party titles on there anymore because of these performance issues. I don't use the Switch as a portable. I use it as something that I dock and just play on my TV. And, that's fine. I don't have to support Nintendo just because it's Nintendo. However, I am very excited for the Switch 2 because who doesn't finally want a Nintendo console that may give us games the way that we felt about games when the GameCube came out? And what do I mean by this? When the GameCube launched, it's probably one of the more impressive launches that I've ever been a part of. Every game that I played on the GameCube just felt like a step above the Xbox and the PS2 at the time. The lighting in Luigi's Mansion with the shadows, the water effects in Wave Race, the details combined with the lighting and water effects and sky effects in Rogue Squadron, right? Just the clean, crisp fidelity of playing Monkey Ball and high frame rate. Everything about the GameCube launch just felt special and a step above the rest. So to me, I sort of view the Switch 2 as modern day GameCube in terms of this is kind of the moment we've been waiting for. When we got the Switch, we knew it was, sort of leaps and bounds behind the current other platforms. And in a way, yes, the Switch 2 is still going to be a bit behind current platforms. There's all kinds of stuff being thrown out there what this thing is going to be comparable to when it comes to the performance. But let me tell you, I don't really see it as a downside that I'm going to be playing pretty soon later this year Nintendo games that are the equivalent of like, I don't know, high end PS4 Pro, low end PS5 looking games. Nintendo games docked in 4K, even if it's in 30 frames a second. I think we're underestimating how amazing it's going to be to sit down with the latest 3D Mario platformer, the next Zelda game that maybe changes up the art style from what we're used to seeing with Breath of the Wild. Of course, that's a bit down the line. Metroid Prime 4, launch title, anybody? Maybe, perhaps. I'm just really excited to feel that inner child again, sitting down with a brand new Nintendo console and having a launch lineup to get excited over. Let's not, let's not kid ourselves here. The Switch launch outside of Breath of the Wild, while it was a substantial game, was available elsewhere and it looked great. But outside of that, I mean, we were pretty limited. It's like, okay, when you're done playing that, what were you gonna play? 1-2 Switch? I don't know about you, but I didn't play 1-2 Switch. Bomberman R, there really wasn't much. So to have The Switch 2 launching with a game like Mario Kart 9, which is going to be so much fun to just sit down and play with everybody. 24 player races. How, like, I'm so excited to just sit down and play with my community. Maybe they got some kind of like, I'm hoping for a battle royale style racing mode, similar to what Chocobo GP did, where you're like gradually eliminating players as you go through like a circuit of races or something. I'm really excited. If this thing launches with Mario Kart 9 and like a couple of good single player games or something, first party Nintendo games, like Metroid Prime 4, or heck, anything else that they might surprise us with, I think I'm really going to love it. And I'm ready to go all in on the Switch too when it comes to this generation, because I am at that point now too where it is getting a little bit harder for me to sit in a PC chair and play games on my TV all day. So I think I will actually finally start making use of the handheld function of the Switch 2, kind of just lounging on a couch, laying in bed, playing my Switch games, which I wasn't previously doing too much with the original Switch because, well, when you play some of those games on handheld there, the performance isn't the best. And I think just having standard 30 frame rate and just having the games look really good has me excited. It really does. And I'm sorry, but I always look forward to new Nintendo games. Yes, they rehash a lot of games. Yes, they re-release a lot of stuff that absolutely has no reason to be re-released for the prices that they do. Donkey Kong Country HD, Returns HD, whatever they're calling it, right? Like that kind of stuff I'm not the biggest fan of, but at the end of the day, Nintendo still manages to come out with these really creative, fun platformers, racing games, puzzle games, adventure games, and they're the only ones that are doing this. So there is that argument where people are like, why would I want to Switch 2 when I can get a Steam Deck, or I can get like, this handheld PC console X, Y, and Z, like all these different alternatives that are out there, which is true. They're probably going to be cheaper, better performance, but they don't have Nintendo games. Now let's address the next issue, and that's people were disappointed that this reveal trailer was just a little standard. It wasn't really showing any gimmicks that Nintendo's known for, but let's take a step back for a moment. Do we really want a bunch of gimmicks with the Switch 2? Nintendo gets very experimental. Did you really want to be using Wii Fit boards and like uh, steering wheels and Wii Waggle and Labo kind of stuff again? Nothing against the Labo, but Nintendo can get a little out there with their ideas. So if the main thing that they're introducing here is the mouse control, I think it's going to be fun. Now, talking about the mouse control, this is my prediction. I really strongly feel that you are going to see something either bundled with the Switch 2 or sold as a separate accessory because Nintendo likes money. So if you think about it, if these Joy-Cons in the trailer, which I just have to highlight one of my favorite comments from this whole reveal, by the way, in the trailer where they showed the Joy-Cons drifting, I read a comment on X or something that was like, oh, that's funny. The Joy-Cons are like literally drifting. Because you may not Joy-Con drift. I thought it was kind of funny. But they showed the Joy-Cons drifting like they're playing a racing game. And a lot of people are like, well, how are you going to play? Are you going to put your Joy-Cons on your legs and like play that way? Like use that as a mat? No. Not everybody has a table in front of them. Not everybody's a streamer playing in the living room with a table that's like an appropriate height to play with, these things as a mouse. So I think you might actually see Nintendo bundle a very cheap mat. And I haven't watched any other people's Switch 2 prediction videos, so I apologize if someone else has like called out something like this before. I haven't watched any impressions, whatever. But I really think you might see them bundle a very cheap mat that you just lay on your lap. Maybe it's just like two pieces of plastic that fold out and it's got like a matte finish on the mat, and that you can use on your lap as sort of like a slightly large mouse pad. Now, if they don't bundle it with the console, I'm predict that you might see them selling this separately potentially. I could see it being a $30-$40 accessory that's like a little TV tray style thing where you can kind of just like put it over yourself and use that as like a table to use your new Joy-Con mouse cursors. So if this is going to be a really big gimmick that a lot of games make use of, and my mind was already running wild, it's like, okay, this allows them to port games like Kirby Rainbow Curse from the Wii U, because that game was using like, drawing on the gamepad. It's going to allow you to play first-person shooters in a completely different way. While they do have mouse accessories, they've had mouse accessories for years for home consoles. It's never been standardized. You'd always have to jump through some hoops and kind of like go through some third-party accessories to be able to play certain games with a mouse and keyboard style. But now, if Nintendo can find a way to make this like the new standard, I think that's going to be pretty cool. And I think they're going to come up with some really fun, unique ways to incorporate it into the games too. Imagine a new Wave Race where instead of using a controller, you use the Joy-Cons and you kind of like use them as like the like to get, you know what I'm talking about, to like press down and go forward, accelerate and like turn, kind of like go like this to turn. What if you're playing a Katamari Damacy game and you know how you use the joysticks and you rotate them up and down to like turn the Katamari ball? Well, what if a new Katamari game has you using the Joy-Cons as mice to kind of like move the Katamari ball around? Just kind of trying to get the creative ideas flowing here on what they can be using this for. But what if that's where the gimmicks stop, right? Isn't that okay? Haven't we gotten to the point now where we're, we're just looking forward to Nintendo games looking better? I never really understood why it's okay for Xbox and PlayStation to release new consoles and pro versions of their consoles, and everybody's like, "Oh, yay, that's oh, no problem. I'll be in line to buy a $700 PS5 Pro." Why is it okay for them to release something that's just a step above, and everybody, well, not everybody applauds it. I definitely was not applauding the PS5 Pro, but like the step up from the PS4 to the PS5, a lot of the upgrades these days for all home consoles, the improvements are getting uh, less noticeable, right? So now that Nintendo's finally getting to the point where they're like, okay, maybe we need to drop all the crazy gimmicks that are out there and just maybe have one new fun idea and just focus on improving graphics and fidelity and performance. Suddenly they're getting backlash because they're not gimmicky enough. I don't know. But I also feel like we're jumping to conclusions here because we don't know what the gimmicks are truly going to be on the Switch 2 yet. There's been a lot of spec leaks and rumors, but we don't know what's in the software, right? What are the menus going to be like? Maybe there's a new feature in there that maybe Nintendo finally is adding some kind of an achievement system where you can track and compare versus your friends. Maybe they're adding something new to their online membership that nobody really saw coming. So I don't know, I just kind of wanted to get it off my mind. I don't want this video to be too long and rambly, but I just wanted to let you guys know that I am definitely looking forward to the Switch 2 with optimism and anticipation because at the end of the day, I just want to play fun games. I don't really care too much about what company's putting out what console. As long as we're going to have a fun launch, and I feel like it's been a while since we've had a truly fun console launch. The PS5 was a little bit fun. I really enjoyed Astro's Playroom, but it's been a bit since we've had a really bombastic console launch with that hype behind it, the availability where it's not going to be scalped too hard, though I do feel like the Switch 2 is going to be very hard to get still, and some good, solid launch games beyond just like one game that's just some like port of another game or something. I'm excited, and I am fully ready to commit to making Switch 2 if this thing is impressive enough and meets my needs for like playing docked on my TV. I'm not saying I'll make it like my exclusive console for buying third-party games, but there is a chance I might if that thing plays games nice enough in handheld version and I'm happy enough with the performance on my TV as well. And I'll tell you, boy, modern games right now, a lot of these like more depressing action games and games that try a little too hard to like feel like they're right out of real life. I need that Nintendo escape, and I feel like I'm craving it more than ever right now. Nintendo, you need to come rescue us with some cute Kirby games, some platformers. Like we need Mario, Link, Kirby, even Star Fox. Don't forget Star Fox, Samus. We need your first party IPs more than ever right now as just an escape from these other volatile, free to play, monetized $70 to $100 digital limited play it early edition. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? So Nintendo, hopefully you don't disappoint us. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Let me know your comments below what you think about the Switch 2 reveal, and I'll see you in the next video.